Hi everyone, this is Nick Souza from the Digital Arts Experience. I am the club coordinator for the D&D Club, and I'm continuing to explain the various rules of D&D. This is going to continue on with the spells and spell casting rules. So if you haven't watched the previous two videos on, I believe it was spell slots and spell components, do watch those first, because this is gonna make a lot more sense. So in this video, I'm going to continue using Grum as always, and we're going to talk about spell attack and spell DC. You may have seen a couple of notes over here. Specifically, there is in fact a hit/DC note for all of the spells. Some of them don't have any, but some of them have, say, like Dex 13, Charisma 13. There's a +5 here. So what do all of these mean? Well, essentially, they refer to the effects or what you need to do in order for the spell to hit. Let's break this apart into the spell attack and then the spell save DC, which you can see are actually listed up here. The modifier is going to play into both of these in just a moment, but we'll come back to that in just a second. Let's start with spell attack. It's going to make a little bit more sense. So let's actually go to a spell that has a spell attack. And you can see that this is listed as such with Guiding Bolt. We'll read Guiding Bolt here. A flash of light streaks toward a creature of your choice within range. So if there's going back to that range component. On a hit, the target takes so much radiant damage, and the next roll against this target before the end of your next turn has advantage, thanks to the mystical dim light glittering on the target until then. So essentially what's happening here is let's actually bring back that goblin, that tricky goblin that Grum was dealing with earlier. Let's say he's in a party, or rather Grum is in a party, and they just cannot hit this one goblin. So Grum decides to cast Guiding Bolt, so that way it does some damage, and it will make the goblin easier to hit for his companions. The problem is that he has to aim. This is basically it's a ranged spell attack. And this is one of the few times that you have to aim with a spell. So in this case, Grum has to see if he can hit the target. So he is going to roll a ranged attack roll. That is what the hit refers to here. He's going to see if he can actually hit the target, or also called spell attack. And that's where this +5 comes in. Whenever Grum rolls the d20, this is the number he adds, and then we compare that to the target's armor class. Now, the way this number is created, all the classes are going to handle spells a little bit differently. And in this case, because Grum is a cleric, his spell casting modifier is wisdom. This is what he relies on when referring to like how many spells he can prepare per day, how much, what gets added to his spell attack. In this case, spell attack is a combination of your spellcasting trait, which in Grum's case is wisdom, which is the +2, which is denoted here, and it's also added to your proficiency. So if I remember correctly, where is that number? Here it is. So that gives us the +3. So +2 and a +3 give us a +5 overall. And that's how the spell attack functions. Not all the spells require you to roll to hit. There will be certain features that may include other rolls, or they may just have certain effects. It all depends on the wording. So definitely make sure you read up on the descriptions. Now, we went over spell attack here. Let's talk about the save DC. So let's actually go over to second level here, and let's take a look at hold person. So here we've got the casting time, which is 1 action. That's the range. We went over the components previously. We're going to talk about concentration in the next video, so I'll come back to that. But here we've got, there is a wisdom 13. Now, what does this mean? Well, let's read the description a little bit. Humanoid that you can see within range. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be paralyzed for the duration. So certain spells will automatically hit. However, the target has a chance to see if they can get out of the way or try to resist the target or resist the spell in some way. In this case, they are going to make a wisdom saving throw, which we've talked about previously, to see if they can resist it. So this number, wisdom 13, or the save DC, is the target number they have to beat. So in this case, if Grum casts hold person on the goblin to stop him from jumping around like a crazy little hopping jelly bean from heck. I don't know where I came up with that from that particular description, but the goblin has to make a wisdom saving throw of 13. And if he rolls below it, he will be paralyzed. If he rolls above it or meets the target, he will not be paralyzed. So that's really how that works. The number will generally go up as you level up. This is created with your spellcasting modifier as well as your proficiency, but it starts with a base of 8. So it's 8 plus 2, your modifier, which gives us 10, and then plus your proficiency bonus, which is 13. So this is gonna go up as you level. Same with spell attack, so that way you can hit things more easily. Or hit harder targets, or it is going to become more difficult for creatures to resist your spells. And that's pretty much how it works. The type of saving throw is going to change depending on the type of spell involved. Hold Person specifically calls for a Wisdom saving throw, but you can see here Bane actually has a Charisma saving throw. So it's going to change a little bit depending on the spell type. So I believe that is going to cover everything in terms of the spell attack and saving throw DC, or the save DC. So double check your spells. They all work a little bit differently in terms of if they automatically hit and there is an effect, if there's aiming involved, or if the target has to try and resist your spell. So that's going to cover everything in this video. I'm actually going to make a quick note to go over concentration as well as prepared spells, because they all work a little bit differently per class, so we'll cover that in an additional video. If you have any other questions regarding D&D, feel free to let me know in the comments. You can also go and check out our website, dnd.thedie.com. I'll put a link in the description. And if you want to get adventuring and join one of our games, which are I can't talk apparently, which are really cool, go over to our website. We have got some video compilations up there and some other cool stuff to check out, so consider joining us for an adventure. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.